dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. I'm sitting.
We did it!
Hey! You did it. I just said
welcome to another episode of Conspiracies and Mysteries with Brian Trust and Troy Whitworth. Welcome, Troy.
Thank you.
I know it doesn't sound great. Whoa, am I wow?
Oh, my gosh. Is this like the fourth show?
That's what I'm talking about.
Hard to believe.
Episode 4. That means we weren't cut after 1.
I know. It's amazing.
Let's go! Hey, before we get started, because we got so much to cover this evening. So much to cover. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, hey, here's what I'm getting at. Ladies and gentlemen, because we got so much content to cover, remember, this podcast is for you. So, with that being said, let me also say this, that whatever Troy and I talk about for entertainment purposes only, this doesn't necessarily reflect the views of the RiverBender.com family. But I'm hoping you're tuning in every week, including this week, because tonight we're going to talk about logos, symbols. Some of these logos have just some very modern things that I kind of want to share with you, but some of them go quite a bit deeper.
A little more sinister, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more sinister. So you ready to get going?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to start off with some basic... Whoa, hello. Hello, this chair's total dude, I'm wound. Okay?
What is this like the video you did?
yeah. How
Do you need a life alert? I mean,
he's picking on me, ladies and gentlemen. So let me figure out how to work out this mouse, and here we go.
Work out that chair.
The chair's getting a workout and passed the weight limit. So let me pull something up. Are you ready, Troy?
Yeah.
All right. Are you guys ready? I hope so. Here we go.
People think that that's representation of the pineal gland in your brain. It's just a little tiny little dot in the middle of your brain, and it controls things like sleep and when to fall asleep, that melatonin and that sort of thing. But I think a lot of the pagans thought that it was something that you could, I don't know, astral projection, go to see God with, whatever. But that's interesting because it's called the pineal gland, okay? Jacob wrestled with an angel all night, an angel of God all night.
Okay.
And the name of the place he wrestled was in his head? I mean, did he wrestle with God in his head? I don't know. But it's interesting that pineal is the gland in your brain and the city or place where he wrestled with an angel of God.
Okay.
Spelling is different.
That's okay. Now, listen, I know that we've got a lot to cover, but let's go deeper.
Okay.
Are you ready to go deeper?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to go deeper? Hey, speaking of, as we go into the next one, is there ever a logo or a symbol that's always, I don't want to say haunted you, but made you curious and you have a story about it? Because if you do, I want you to comment just the logo, and then I'll DM you and we'll follow up on that. Or you could always send an email to trust on RiverBender at gmail.com. Okay, here we go. Let's go. We're going to dive
Sure.
deep. I hope they're all ready.
Yep. Okay. It's a hexagon. Did you know that?
No.
Okay. Most people weren't aware of it until the 80s. I think it was, was it the Cassini or the. Anyway, they sent photographs back. Now, what's interesting is the Dogon tribe, I think West Africa, they somehow maybe knew about this hundreds and hundreds of years ago about this. Now, I think you can, supposedly you can see Saturn with the telescope or whatever. You can't see the North Pole, but anyway, if that is the black cube of Saturn, which is supposed to represent mankind in a box, okay, there's no way out of it, So you could say, well, then there's reincarnation, that sort of thing. I don't know, but
Definitely deep.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
While we're on deep, let's continue on deep. Are you
Sure.
ready? Okay, because here we go. Let's try this one. message, Troy. I just got a message. Ladies and gentlemen, just really fast, we're going to go to a commercial, and I'll be right back.
At Marquette Catholic High School, tradition is more than a word. It's a way of life. From championship athletics to community service, from lifelong friendships to faith-filled values, Marquette students carry a legacy of excellence. Together, we build a stronger community on the field, in the classroom, and beyond. Marquette Catholic, where tradition meets tomorrow. Visit marquettecatholic.org and see why Marquette is the right choice for your family.
You won't find a better health club than Nautilus Fitness Center. More cardio, more free weights and equipment, more classes, a swimming pool, and more. If you're serious about your health and want to make a change, then stop thinking about it and visit Nautilus Fitness Center on Industrial Drive in Alton. Don't fall for the hype you get from the other health clubs. Nautilus is the Riverbend's premier health club. Has been for years and will be for years to come. Get to Nautilus Fitness Center and get started on a healthier new you.
What did you do?
Bloopers 202. Bloopers 202. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I've been doing this for a year, and we're going to have to come up with the most beautiful blooper reel for Trust. We came back from a commercial for me to explain to you that when we were putting up pictures, that it would cut out our microphones. So when we came back from commercial, I'm telling you that then to realize that I didn't even have the sound on the board. So here we go, 14 minutes later into our episode. Here's where we're at. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about logos and symbols. What I'm going to start doing from here on out to the rest of the episode is I will throw up a logo, but instead of talking about it while you're staring at it, we'll go right back into conversation. So the very last one I just did is you guys saw me pop up the Super Bowl logo. And what I was doing there, Troy, that was the last 4 or 5 years of Super Bowl logos. And what they say is when the NFL puts out the logos, based on the color scheme of those logos, they can already predict who's going to be in the Super Bowl.
Now, who's predicting that?
I'm not sure, but here's the crazy thing. If I just showed you 5 pictures, 4 out of the 5 pictures were on point. 4 out of the 5 pictures of what people predicted, they were in the Super Bowl.
I don't know. My first guess at that would be foreknowledge. You know, I think foreknowledge is real. It's out there. I think it's been used by powerful people, and maybe that's, you know, why rich people get rich and we remain poor. I don't know.
But I honestly, when you got so many people on a football field, there's no way I could see that stage.
Well,
no
I'll
way.
tell you what. I
can hear
when the NFL
football.
went woke, I quit watching. Okay, and so I kind of came back a little bit because, man, I love football. But this love fest with the Chiefs, okay, and I like Andy Reid. Actually, all those guys are pretty good guys, you know. But I just couldn't get over it, and it was like this Dallas Cowboys in the '70s. Dandy Don, those guys, Howard Cosell, they all loved the Cowboys. And it so you got to where you started rooting against him, and I started rooting against the Chiefs. I wanted them to lose because it's like you guys are getting penalties given to you and so forth, and it just would irritate me. So it's almost like they do kind of know. I think maybe someone knows about this, but I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift either. But this whole love affair with, but didn't she have an album or something? It was something about 13 in that whole NFL game, that Super Bowl, about 13, and I think it was even reflected on the score at halftime. So yeah, I think there's some foreknowledge that goes on there.
That is something we might have to go back to. Hey, before we go to the next logo, what I want to share with you guys: look up Super Bowl 2026. Look at the colors. Look at the visual, and I actually want to hear from you. Based on the colors and based on foreknowledge, I would like to see if you guys are going to be able to tell me who's going to be in the Super Bowl for 2026. You ready to bring up another one?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go silent when I pull the picture up. So, going back to Starbucks, right?
Yeah, we talked
now,
about that.
I told people when we did Conspiracies and Mysteries, when we started this show, I always go back to our Subway conversation. And honestly,
I must have been gold that day, man, because I can't.
That's what you told me about was Starbucks.
Did I?
So the reason why I could remember back in 1971, because that's when I was born, and that's when 1971 came out. So, folks, it's tough. I want to show the logo while I talk to you, but we've been informed if I put a picture up on the screen, we can't see it. So you won't talk about women this. I'm doing it. But here's what I was told. I was told about Starbucks and a logo, and if I pronounce this right, Greek mythology, which it does look Greek, the thing. Siren.
Siren, that's right.
Siren. So for those of you that don't know, because I didn't know.
They would sing a beautiful song and lure men, and then that would be their impending doom.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you do know about that.
Well, I know about the sirens. I know about the fish goddess and the fish god and Dogon, the fish individual in the Bible. The fish priest.
So let me ask you a naive question, a dumb it down Brian Truss question.
Okay.
I understand that this is just our opinion and we're just talking, right?
Yes.
But mysteries and conspiracies wouldn't come to fruition if people weren't talking about it. So here's my question. If that's what people think about Starbucks logo and you're Starbucks, do you just keep going? Because Starbucks is, it's not like they're hurting for money, so why would they change their logo just based on what people are talking about?
Have you been to Seattle?
No.
Okay. Seattle was the first Starbucks in Seattle. I was actually there once, 10, 12 years ago. They like to think of themselves as a very progressive. The architecture is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. But they have drug addicts running all over the middle of town. I got into it with a few of them. But they're very progressive. And so I think we are to them flyover Jesus country. I don't think we're the great unwashed. They're the advanced knowledge, and so.
Not aware of any of this.
It's just my opinion, but Seattle was. That's how Pike Place was. On the way to Pike Place, I got accosted by a guy that was clearly out of his mind, and I was advised by my folks not to engage with him, but he made me so mad that I did, and probably wound up dead, but I didn't care. I was so angry with the guy. But they have and that was 10, 12 years ago, so I don't know what it's like now, but it's a very progressive area. And aside from the architecture and the scenery, which was beautiful, I don't care to ever go back.
Well, you could always get online and look at pictures these days.
Right. Okay. And I get, people don't like to get killed while they're vacationing.
So what Troy's not doing a commercial to come visit Seattle. Let's go to another logo, Troy. Let's pull this one up. All right. So again, I'd like to leave the logos up on screen, but I'm being told that they can't be heard.
Right.
So
people saw that. It's the symbology that I mentioned Google before on another show. You've been talking
about it since we started.
About the 3 6s, and people can figure out what they want about the 3 6s, but it's always been tied to the opposer, the devil, and it just keeps popping up. And I don't know why these symbols, I don't know if it means that they have power, they're giving tribute to the devil. That's why they've come up with this clever little thing. I mean, or if it's a wink and a nod to everyone out there that's in the know that this is what we're doing. And again, the great unwashed like ourselves don't know what to say how we're doing.
So for the people just tuning in for the first time, Troy's brought up Google each episode. Yeah. And one of the things that he's brought up is we would be talking about history, and what Troy has shared with me. It's like, I want to say the interpretation, they changed the narrative. So
yes.
When you go to look up things that were in paperback, you can't change paperback.
No.
So when you had that paperback knowledge, it's something you read about, it was on Google before, but as things come out, it's weird that now when you Google things, like it's not as easily found as it was once before.
Let me say this. You can still find some articles, okay? But with this, I don't know if it's AI, Chat, GPT, whatever it is, when you pull something up, okay, the first thing you get is a bunch of stuff where it
like AI gives you an interpretation, like
right,
a quick summary.
Right,
okay,
right, and usually it's followed up with it was this, and then now it's modern conspiracy theorists think it's something else. I mean, and that modern conspiracy theorists kept coming up, and I thought, you know what they're really saying? They're really saying that, we really didn't know that the internet was going to come down the pike years ago. So now people know a lot more because they have access to it. You don't have to spend hours in the library. And we've got to kind of throw some water on this so where you really believe in nothing. And so it's out there, but, it could mean something else.
Well, here, very similar. We just talked about Google. Let's pull up another logo.
Okay.
That one, I would like to leave up on the screen a little bit more.
Yeah,
because,
can you show that again?
Yeah, let's pull that up, because that, if we go quiet a little bit, folks, we want you to see this play out.
Why? Why?
I didn't even know that was a symbol of Chat GPT.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a symbol within a symbol. And if you think that Star of David actually was attributed to Solomon originally. Again, it's the cube. It's the worship of the cube. And, maybe it's not, but here's what I want to know. If it's not, and it's just Jewish symbology, how come there's so much Jewish symbology in these things that come up with the symbols on the internet? Why? I would like to know why there's so much of that going on.
Don't ask me, ask them.
Well,
So, ladies and gentlemen, what Troy's saying is, hey, listen, this is a podcast for the people. We just happen to be the ones that are on air right now. So anything that we talk about, like we said, entertainment purposes and in our opinion only, we know someone out there is listening and watching who's got an interpretation of what we speak of, and we encourage you. All you got to do is in the comments, type the topic, and then I'll DM you, or trustonriverbender@gmail.com, because, hey, we're inquiring minds also. This whole podcast, I want to say, is about curiosity.
It is about curiosity. When I was researching that Star of David, I thought, I know a lot of great Jewish people. And, you're Jewish. And this is nothing. I mean, I guess as a Caucasian, a Christian Caucasian, if another Christian Caucasian goes out and does something horrible, I don't want to get labeled with that, So this isn't about, anti-Semite. It's not about any of that. It's just I want to know why that sign is popping up when you have to go into Chat GPT or things like that.
I actually just thought of that. Now that you say that, when I do mess with the Chat GPT as it's loading, I do recognize that symbol, which is probably something I would never have paid attention to until you brought that up.
There's an icon on this phone. I just got this phone about a month ago. And there's an icon that's already built into it, and it says Internet, okay? And it's a logo of Saturn. Why? Now, that Star of David, before it was the Star of David, like I said, David never had a star, okay? I've read where it was on the shield in battle, whatever. But it was the seal of Solomon. Okay, this thing goes back a long time. This logo does this, the triangles, and it is I think it's an introduction to the Kabbalah, which is a Jewish mysticism. And I got reading some of that stuff today because I really have never, read up on Jewish mysticism. It's kind of fascinating, but it is not. It's nothing Christian that I can find. So, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I've got a Quran at home that I've glanced at, and the Quran is interesting too because you're familiar with the Quran.
Heard of it. Okay,
but even when you open it, you've got to open it from the back of the book and read this way, and it's just So
here's what I'm finding is kind of crazy. So again, folks, we apologize if from the beginning of the show we were showing pictures, we were talking about logos and symbols. Again, we were told that you couldn't hear us speaking, but just to get us kind of caught up to date, when you talk, because to me I'm calling you a historian right now, but we're talking about modern day logos.
Yeah. Yeah, and we call them logos, but they're symbols, they're signs. It's, I think they have power. If you don't think the symbols have power, look at what a QR code can do.
I have them. I have QR codes.
So I mean, they can.
But I would like to believe, marketing-wise, like what you're saying. I mean, you just don't say, hey, I'm going to start this name brand and come up with this logo. I like to believe when you're spending that kind of money, and you're going to brand and you're going to market, there's going to be a little history in that. There's a reason and there's a purpose why you're doing it.
Yeah.
But, man, I had no idea. I'll be honest with you. Just like talking about Starbucks, when the company was founded in 1971, but then you're talking about, going way back, I believe that I was reading to the 1500s.
Yeah.
When they're talking about this myth siren, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, before we go to a commercial, here's what I want to do. I want to do a quick recap because I enjoyed the first 14 minutes of the show, but you guys didn't get to hear it. So I'm just going to kind of ramble off some things, and then I'll click on the picture so you can see what we were talking about, and then we'll go to a commercial. So one of the pictures I'm going to pull up is Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
So let me just pull it up real fast. Well, you see it. I told Troy I was paying attention to the menu. I always get the 4-piece, but the reality is in that design, you can see the chicken to the head, to the left. We're going to do just a couple more real fast to go back. Baskin Robbins. Again, I was thinking of flavors, but when you see this logo, you see the hidden 31 right in there.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't click these buttons fast enough. So I'll just do one more for you. I kind of like this one, the Tour de France. I'm going to pull up the Tour de France logo. Folks, what I want you to look at when the logo comes up, look at the big circle. And what that's going to be is pretty much like the front tire of a bike with a guy leaning over and riding it. So since we can't comment, a whole lot while we got the photo up, here's what I say we do. We take a commercial break.
Okay.
Because I love the people who do commercials with RiverBender. That's who allows us to have these shows that we have out here. Hey, and by the way, if you see an advertiser and you could use it, please use them. And then when you call them, say, hey, RiverBender sent us.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out, I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good. At Landmark Realty, we're proud to serve the Riverbend area with offices in Godfrey and Jerseyville. Whether you're buying your first home or your forever home, our team is here to guide you every step of the way. And if you're ready to start your dream business, we can help you find the perfect commercial property. Visit us today at godfreylandmark.com. Landmark Realty, serving the Riverbend and serving you.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Troy, as you're standing up, you just heard the music, right?
Yes.
Who was that?
That was Ace Frehley, New York Groove, baby.
Yeah, you know why? We were playing some Ace Frehley because today he passed.
Yeah, I know. He came out with that album, 10,000 Volts, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And I thought, well, he's doing pretty good. I think he was in his 70s. I don't know what he died from, do you?
No, I don't. I've been so busy, getting ready for conspiracies.
I just can't believe it.
And John and Kathy, if you're watching, I'm cracking up. I do have to tell you, anybody who's watching, we're having so much fun. That's what this podcast is about. Listen, we're very curious. Conspiracies, mysteries, myths, and legends. But you know what? Trust is no producer. So I hope I'm bringing entertainment to you guys on these blooper lines. I promise this. It can only get better after this. Am I right? So, hey, let's jump back into some logos. Here, I'm going to pop up. So, again, if you're just joining us, I'm going to show you a picture. We go silent because we're not, the IT's not working for Trust today. So let me show you this logo, and we'll be right back.
That one is interesting to me.
Well, tell me about it. Because to me, I just think of Apple. I just think my stock's going up.
Well, I know, but don't you find it interesting that is the forbidden fruit of the Garden of Eden?
I do, but I would never put today's modern Apple. And again, this is what I love chatting with you. How you take something so modern, something that we see every day, but you could tie it back to Adam and Eve.
Yeah, the knowledge of good and evil can be found on your phone, so you have to take a bite of the apple.
Okay.
So, and you know what? These guys knew it. These guys knew all of that, what it stood for. So,
okay, again, that one, I struggle with that one. Here's something that I'm not familiar with. Ooh, you know what? They didn't hear about the Pringles, but we're going to skip. No, that's okay. Let's do this one because this is something I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, the laurel leaves. Those are associated with Nimrod, who was the king of Babylon.
You brought up Nimrod
almost
every week.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a double thing, because if you look at that UN logo, it looks like a flat earth. I'm just saying, I'm not a flat earther, but I don't rule out anything. I'm just saying it's kind of a double. But those leaves, I mean, like even on my old Ranchero at home, it's got those.
Ooh, the Ranchero.
Yeah, it's got those leaves like on a crest. So, and if you look at like flags of other countries, you see those laurel leaves. And the laurel leaves were also on a lot of these seasoned, smart men in Rome and Greece and the Gnostics. They all seemed like they had these on their head, these laurel leaves. So I don't know if that was tribute to Nimrod or not. And speaking of tribute, I think a lot of these logos are tribute to evil. You have to pay your dues. We talked about that.
Well, that's kind of going back to, what was that, episode 2 where we were talking about secret societies?
Yeah. You've got dues to pay.
You said pay your dues.
Yeah, like you will go far in this life, but there's going to be a consequence or a due you're going to have to pay for it. And, I was an art major, a Bachelor of Science in Art and Design, I think. And so I did a lot of logos, but I never once tried to incorporate anything that was hidden. Well, I take it back. My girlfriend was in a sorority, and I did the logos up in the Greek cafeteria. And right in the middle of their logo, I put my fraternity's logo, real tiny. I made the mistake of telling her about it. I had a whole sorority. So, I mean, but that
well,
was
you're just kind of leaving your mark because you were the artist.
Yeah,
right. But, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about today is you could take a very modern logo or something that you've seen going back to Starbucks in the 70s, and there's these hidden messages. Now, again, when I say dumb it down, I'm speaking of myself. I'm pulling up to Starbucks, and I'm just getting me like a French vanilla latte, and I think nothing more of it. But
we're all in that world, aren't we? I mean, we're all, you know.
It's flesh life convenient world. We're not, stop meditating on.
I mean, the Bible says, "Do not be married to this world." But what are you going to do? You live in this box of Saturn, which I pointed out. You know?
And it's unfortunate when we lost that audio, they didn't get to hear.
Oh, the box of Saturn.
I think that was pretty much part of the first episode.
The cube, the box.
You know what? Matter of fact. Let me just pull up that box real fast since nobody got that real fast. We'll take a quick gander at it. Here it is right here.
Yeah, it's cube worship. A lot of these, it's cube worship. And, now the cube is the cube of Saturn. People can research this stuff because we can't cover it all in an hour. People can say, well, there was a cube that was in the book of Revelation, the New Jerusalem. But that cube was a golden cube. It was not the black cube. It's like evil is always going to imitate good. So that's what I think is going on there. I mean, we're all living in a box. And I'm going to tell you something, by the way, if you take a cube and you open it up, Jesus split the veil, right, in the Bible. And I always thought it was connected to time. Okay, I couldn't prove it. There was nothing to, but then it finally came to me the other day. He introduced man to eternalness, okay, to eternity, the concept of eternity, right? So the connection between God and man that's what that was. But it's also, if you open up a box, a cube, it's a cross. So, I don't know if it means anything or not, but I think it would have been cooler since our visual effects aren't working. I thought that would have been cooler if we actually had opened it up into a cube. Yes. Yeah.
That would have been pretty darn cool.
Yeah. I know. The staff of Asclepius is a snake on a staff, right? Sometimes it's used in the medical profession,
right, I've seen that.
But it's also, I think it was part of the Bible where there was a snake on a staff, and it was, if you looked at it, you were healed or saved, whatever it was. It was not saved, but it was, it's been a while since I've read the New Testament. But it's almost like when you look at Jesus on a cross, I know the Catholics always have, Jesus on the cross. I think he's covering that curse of the cube. He's opening up that cube for you and saying, I did this for you. So your connection with God is you're not living in a cube anymore. So that's just my thought.
Listen, this is deep. This is powerful. This is, we're going back to those food things, and all I'm thinking about is the menu and not the logo. Trust is a little jacked up here. Let's pull up another logo and we'll elaborate on it.
Again, Google, but the 3 6s.
I think we didn't get that in the first, right? That was part of the first, right?
Yeah. But that's the 3. You can clearly see the 3 6s. So why do I have to go to the representation of evil
to look
something up? Do you know what 666 talents are? That was the amount of gold Solomon got every year, which is equivalent to like 25 tons of gold every year this guy got. Which, by the way, Solomon, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that means sun and moon. I don't know when Solomon turned ripe, but I don't know if he was. I know Jesus was there, and the disciples were there, but I don't know about Solomon. I don't know.
Okay. So let me ask you this, and again, I'm just trying to recap because we missed the first part of the show. Was Pringles the first part of the show?
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Okay. So, folks, just really fast, I'm going to pull up Pringles. I apologize for the repetition, but we're going to talk about it. So, now that you've seen the Pringles logo, let me ask you guys this. Don't you recall the Pringles character having a monocle? Dude, if it's just
I'm walking this outside.
It's just Jimmy John's. Trust ordered food. It's Jimmy John's. So here's what I'm asking you. When you guys see the logo Pringles, what I want to ask you is, do you remember him having the monocle? Now, Troy says no, which is cool because we're all out. I swear that he had it. But you were reminding me when we were talking about it, maybe I'm thinking of the Monopoly guy, but we definitely agreed that the Peanuts character had it. So in short, we were just trying to talk about the Mandela effect. What our mind thinks we know and what we saw. But I just wanted to bring up Pringles because I wanted you guys to see it, and I want you to ask yourself, did he have it? Did he not have it? You guys can leave that in the comments, yes or no. Just put Pringles next to it. But Troy, you had some pretty intense topics in the first part, and again, I apologize to those because I don't recall, what people were able to hear.
I know.
Or not. But some of the stuff.
One thing we didn't talk about.
Tell me.
And I don't know if you can pull it up. Is CERN.
What was it? Something we already had on here?
Well, I think it was. It was what I had sent over, but
okay.
CERN is in Geneva, Switzerland, I believe, and it is the home of the Giant Hadron Collider. And what they do is they smash, quarks or particles, and they're trying to recreate the Big Bang, I guess, and try and learn things about how creation began. Okay, now I think the God particle, I think they had located that. I don't know, but I don't know much about it. But these people are just, I think, doing things that a lot of people should know about, because I remember hearing about.
No, let's recap. So you're saying CERN.
CERN, and they.
Is that a logo? Is that a symbol?
They've got a logo, and it's 3 6s.
Okay.
Okay, and they also have a gift that was given to them by India of Shiva. Okay, now Shiva is a god that destroys and then brings things back together. So is that what the intent of CERN is? They shut Nikola Tesla down on one of his experiments because they thought that it was going to split the Earth in two. These people are running unbridled. And by the way, they're all atheists. I found that out. So they have nothing to lose, gain, or whatever other than, whatever they're coming up with. And I don't think they're being regulated at all because they don't know what they're messing with. They're smashing atoms and protons.
Demographically, where are we at when we were talking about these
Switzerland.
people? Switzerland, okay.
Yeah. And they are doing things. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, they don't know what the consequence may be, I guess. Okay, if you look at the Hadron Collider, if you pull that up online, it is a nasty, spooky looking thing. It is huge, and it looks like something out of a horror movie. I mean,
we're going to pull it up on Yahoo and not Google.
Well,
he's going to punch me. I'm at arm's length, ladies and gentlemen.
But anyway, their logo is this 3 6s again. And it just, I don't understand why. I don't know why that is, other than if they think they have inherent power.
So let me ask you this.
What?
You and I have this podcast, Conspiracies and Mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff that I'm learning from you. And same thing with the people who are watching this. So some of the stuff that you bring up, if we're just living our everyday life, I'm going to say like in a box, hey, we got bills to pay, we go do our 40-hour work week, we pay our bills, play with our kids, and that's it. But there's just so much more and so much greater out there. So a lot of us, if we're not looking for it, we'll never really know about it unless, my favorite topic, whistleblower. So unless somebody's blowing a whistle or bringing it to attention, I don't think, like a lot of the people, I wouldn't know about it.
Well, in the old days, they used to
kill. But then it would also scare the holy poop out of me.
Right.
And then it goes back. I'm gonna go on a tangent. Okay. Now we're going back to the U.S. government. So laugh at me, all you guys. Swamp, but I know you want to know the true answer, yes or no, if there's aliens. But here's what I'm bringing up. So you're talking about Sweden. You're saying this is scary as heck, and a lot of us people don't know it.
No.
But then we talk about the reality, and one of my topics, I'm going to bring up the Smithsonian Institute. So I'm going to tie that in right now to my statement that these people, the government / Smithsonian Institute in cases, are crushing evidence or being evasive, and we're being told as citizens that they don't want us to know to protect us. So how is that tying into Sweden? What I'm getting at is, I don't think any of us would know about Sweden unless somebody just brings it to, into a topic like the show.
In a lot of the conspiracy circles, though, not even conspiracy, but just people that are alert and awake, they're very knowledgeable about CERN, more so than I am. But I remember a story where these people had gone to some far remote area of the world, and they stumbled upon this tribe of people. And they went and they sat with them and they talked with them, and there was time for one of the people to leave. Okay? And so he left, and he waved at them, and they didn't wave back. And so I guess a time later they go back and say, hey, how come you didn't wave? And one of the tribesmen basically said, you know what, I didn't see it. And I thought it was an interesting story because their world began and ended on those banks of that island. So from something foreign to come in, they didn't know how to process it. They just didn't know how, to the point where they didn't see it. And so it's, you can have an encounter and then deny it happened. I mean, that happens, I guess, a lot, maybe with UFOs.
A lot of marriages.
A lot of marriages. But it's a human nature. It's just human beings are. There was a gal I knew that I went to school with, and she told me that people come up to us, hey, your husband's running around, and she would go after him viciously about it, But she said, deep down, I always knew about it, and it's like, well, is that human nature? You don't want to know the scary thing.
Foreknowledge?
Well, maybe, I guess that's a form of foreknowledge, I guess.
Hey, I'm just trying to learn over here, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we got to do one more commercial break and we'll be right back.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit untold.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
About that air guitar again, do they? I think that's actually the air guitar episode that we didn't get across Facebook because I failed us,
Really?
So we might have to get that one back on air, but not revisit the conversation on this particular episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are having a blast. We had a little bit of a visual impairment today, but guess what? We're coming through because the show must go on.
That's right.
So listen, we're running out of time. We only got 10 minutes left, and I told you we have so much content, so I'm gonna kind of how about just trust you, just shut up. show another logo, and then I'm going to let Troy narrate on. So here we go. And boom!
Yeah, the gap supposedly is for the work that's still yet to be done, building this society or whatever. But I want to talk about the I, because the I is it's all over. It's the Masons and different things. The Eye of Providence. They tell you it's the Eye of Providence, right? The Eye of, and I thought, when we have a full moon, I'll look at that. And then and then it goes like the half of the moon or whatever. And you think, is that like an eye and an eyebrow? Or what? I thought, no, I don't think it is. Okay, but people would think that was, But I will tell you this,
dude, because I can tell you right now, that is ever since the legal tender, and that logo has been talked about generations.
Well, you can figure out the star. The Star of David or the Seal of Solomon, whatever you want to talk about it, if you just spell out the Mason on the back of it there, and it makes the star. So I'm just something to think about. But the eye, okay.
Let's focus on the eye.
If you will Google the eye of Saturn, okay, that's the southernmost part of Saturn. Okay, it's the South Pole. You tell me if that doesn't look like the eye. Okay, I think that's where they get the eye. I think the eye is this. I think this all comes back to Saturn worship.
Well,
it all goes back to Saturn
that I
worship.
was told the eye was something to keep an eye on progress.
Well, yeah. I mean, the best way to hide something sinister is to say it's not. This is also this notion I want to talk about this. A lot of these societies, whatever, I don't know if the Masons do or not, but a lot of people think that a lesser God created this material world. Okay? That this God created the material world we live in, maybe the box, if you will, but the material world. And being spiritual beings in this material world, you can see it's almost kind of like a conflict, if you will. We're living in this box. You can't go out and do all these things. But this lesser God that created what we see, this material universe, it's interesting because some of these societies, I think, turn it around, say that the God we believe in was the lesser God, and that the greater God is Saturn, Lucifer, Azazel, the seal of Azazel, is whatever you want to call it. And that's where it gets kind of be a rub and maybe a brainwash. If you go through these different steps.
I just got to pull this picture up again because there's so much intensity of a conversation going on right now. I just need to meditate on this picture for a second. Hang on. Okay, because that's pretty deep.
Now, I wish we could pull up the eye of Saturn, and you could see what I'm talking about. It looks like an eye looking right down at us.
Well, what do you say that maybe on the next episode, that'll give us an entire week to work on, that will pull up like a visual. So before we go into our next topic, which, by the way, next week we have our first guest. MJ Bachman's going to join us on the podcast. But I think what we'll do is before we kind of go into her topic, let's get this visual of what you speak of, because that's a lot of topic to cover about, because a lot of us who just carry money in our pocket, do we stop and do we analyze that logo, which is crazy intensity.
And there's also an owl. If you look, there's also an owl in the upper corner. You can't really see. You have to look at it. And a lot of people think that is the owl representative of Moloch, which is at Bohemian Grove.
So what you're saying tomorrow when people are at work and they're just staring at a dollar bill, hey, don't yell at us because we told you to look at the dollar, but there's what you're saying, there's just a lot.
It's hidden symbology.
There is just a lot, and that's what we were talking about.
It's just hidden symbology, and it believe me, it all means something. It all does. I'm probably off on a lot of stuff, but it means something other than what you think it is, like the Eye of Providence. I don't believe that for a minute. I think it's the Eye of Saturn, and what you see on the dollar bill, that all means things.
Well, I think it was in our first episode. I can't remember. Weren't you talking about we brought up a bill, and it said something about Treasury opposed to a Federal Reserve?
It was the JFK. JFK wanted to take us off the Federal Reserve System, and I think they killed him over it.
But the reality is this, folks, that we live our everyday life, and a lot of us, we just spend money,
Mm-hmm.
but we really never pay attention to the detail of these hidden
Yeah, the Bible says you can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast. So is that what we're doing?
Speaking of mark of the beast, there is one on here that we didn't cover. Now, again, I'm not trying to get in trouble. This is a show, just a matter of our opinion for entertainment purposes. But you just said the mark of the beast, and that's what they say about
Right.
So
that's like the 3 6s in some, I don't know if it's different language or something, but
you see how you could just say mark of the beast, but then I was able to hurry up and say, hey, there's a logo where somebody says that's the mark of the beast. But to me, man, I'm just walking in a Quick Trip, an unpaid commercial, and grabbing a Monster, an energy drink, not thinking anymore about the symbolism.
That stuff is not good for you at all. I think it has synthetic bull saliva in it. Did you know that?
My wife don't want me on energy drinks. Trust don't need energy drinks. You guys already know that. I don't need it. So she doesn't want me on that stuff. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but we just go through our lives doing what we want to do, and I don't know if it means anything or not with what we're talking about. But I know that I do believe that the God of this world is the devil. I mean, that's what I believe.
The God of this world is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough time to talk because I got a 2 p.m. show called You're Beautiful, right? We're gonna have to do some talking on this ride home.
Okay.
Well, let me also ask this. We got 2 minutes left.
Let's just say he controls this world. I mean, he's not but could he be this lesser God that created this? But we see this entrapment on this planet and not letting us to get to God. That's why the veil was ripped and the unopened cube became the cross that Jesus opened for us. That's just something to think about.
Well, and that's what this whole podcast is about.
And his thing was something about time. He was very cautious about time, like the wine, the wedding at Cana or whatever. He said, "No, it's not my time yet." To do any miracles. And in the assistance of his mother, he turned the water into wine.
I was going to say, there was, right.
So, but he was very specific about time. It wasn't his time to certain things. So, time which is Father Time, which is Saturn, which is Kronos, which is, Saturn eats his young, according to mythology. So,
folks, that's a lot to take in this hour. I told you we had a lot of content. I applaud you because I was pushing to get through this entire
You were thinking about Pringles and Chick-fil-A.
No, I'm just thinking about food. I'm always thinking about
I'm getting
food.
that.
Like, when we get done here, who wants to sponsor Conspiracies and Mysteries? And I hope it's restaurant related because I'm going to put you on blast. So listen, here's what I want to know before they cut me off. What topics do you want to talk about on Conspiracies and Mysteries?
Yeah.
You can reach out to me, trustonriverbender@gmail.com, or just put a comment of a topic you want to talk about on the Facebook page. I'll DM you, and then I'm being serious about that. Trust is built on this food menu. So if you want to be a sponsor,